refuse to not be first.
Do we do enough? Well, I never shut up about it.
It must have been about 16, 17. We nicked their guilt rings. Right, the bouncer's guilt ring.
This is no good for me. That's the reality. If you want the honest truth, and I see it every day.
This is KUGAN CASSIUS for Eiffel TV, proudly sponsored by Everlast. I'm joined by David Haye. David.
Yes.
What the fuck was going on in that press conference?
It was mayhem. It was mayhem. There was one porn star throwing fish around, so the whole place stunk of fish. Then someone poured a bucket of piss over some other chick, and I'm like...
Was it a bucket of piss?
Yeah, apparently so. It's like, okay, I didn't get any splashback from it, thank God, you know, but it's a bad look. It's a bad look. But, I know, it's a crazy scenario. I'm only here for Joe and KSI. That's the only thing that I really care about. The intensity, they both really want this. They really, really want it. KSI, I know, has trained his bollocks off. Joe has also. I've seen it. I know he's given the flash in Miami, floating around on jets and boats and whatnot. But no, I've seen it. He's been at Fifth Street Boxing Gym. Gino Lazar pushed him. Tom have really been making sure that he's on point physically. He's not cutting any corners. And, you know, somebody who's had, 9 pro fights, obviously not at a massive level, but he's been in there. He knows what it's like to fight in the O2 arena. He's fought in front of, tens of thousands of people. So he knows what it's like to fight another fighter. KSI, this is his first opportunity. And the intensity he's presenting is that of someone who cannot wait to get across the ring and let his hands go. And that sounds good for the fans, but technically, boxing's more about strategy, technique, and it's not just about who wants to win it most and throw the hardest punch. Doesn't work that way around. And maybe he's gonna come violently unstuck because Joe knows what he's doing. Obviously, we had guys charging across the ring at him. He was giving them a bonus to try and lay some heat on him, and he was able to evade it. He was able to counter. So, Joe Fournier is 40 years old. KSI is 10 years younger. So it's going to be very interesting.
I may be wrong here, but obviously since you've put your name, obviously through friendship and association with Joe Fournier, it seemed like KSI and Derek Chisora were trying to kind of stick it on you today for these kind of, do you think he's going to knock him out, blah, blah, for you to come out and maybe bite to it. Did you get that impression from KSI expectedly, from Derek Chisora probably more expectedly?
Yeah. No, I get the game. I understand it. It's getting to the point where all the training's been done. It's all about the psychological warfare now, and trying to come with some silly angles, putting bets on it and stuff. Doesn't mean anything as far as I'm concerned. It's going to be a fight, a real fight, with both fighters coming to win because their egos are too big. There's too much at stake for both fighters. Joe, I saw an interview with Joe saying, oh yeah, it doesn't matter, he wins anyway. No, he doesn't. If he loses in a big way. His ego won't allow him to lose to someone who is effectively a YouTuber turned into a boxer and who's never boxed a real boxer before. So there is pressure on Joe. There's also a hell of a lot of pressure on KSI, not only to perform, but to actually knock Joe out, who's never been knocked down or knocked down by me, but that was an exhibition, so that don't count. But I'm really excited. I can't wait. I know what I think's going to happen, but a lot of people are telling me Joe's getting sparked, Joe's getting knocked out. But I'm not sure where they're basing their opinion on because they are only going by what they've seen in the ring with Joe. But I base it on what I've seen him doing, not only in the ring but behind closed doors. All of the best stuff from Joe has been done behind closed doors. So I'm judging the fight on something different. And once again, I've only seen KSI in the ring. I haven't seen what he's been doing behind the scenes. So there's a lot of the unknowns, but I always go the way of the more boxing experience gets the job done.
Okay. Are you being hesitant in your judgment of what's going to happen? Because I'm used to sort of you going full throttle.
Joe hasn't fought for a long time.
Yes. Well, for 6 years, I think.
Yeah, but remember he had the exhibition against myself. Then he had another.
Oh, I mean, it's a pro. Sorry.
Sorry, it's a pro. Had another. So he's trained for fights and gone through that process. But it's unknown. He's 40. You know, I know all of a sudden things wasn't working with me when I got to about 38. You know, things in my mind that I could have done 5-6 years ago, now I'm missing the opportunities, or I'm getting hit with shots I wouldn't ordinarily get hit with. He hasn't shown any signs of that from what I saw when he was sparring and training, but it normally comes out in a fight. But then again, KSI, he doesn't have a wealth of experience, of boxing experience, to base his confidence. It's only come from training, and you know, it's going to be a shootout real quick.
What was happening on the stage there? We saw kind of them being separated by the security, but then did KSI push Joe? Because I saw him.
I think he gave him a shove. I think that's a one apiece. Joe gave him a push at the first.
Still got the weigh-in to go.
Yeah, he's got the weigh-in to go. So it's one push apiece, and yeah, just the intensity was there. They both really wanted it, and I think they're both. I think after that final encounter, I think they're both feeling good that they've put the work in the gym, because they know they need to win. You know, there'd be nothing worse than going into the centre of the ring, face to face with your opponent, and knowing that, you know, you ain't really lived life. You haven't put them sessions in. You haven't done the dieting right. You've taken off too much weight, or whatever it is. They're both. I know. KSI is a consummate professional in terms of preparation and sparring and training. So I know that for a fact. So that's why he's so confident. But also I can see why Joe's as confident as well. Because not only does he feel he's prepared, he believes that KSI doesn't have the pedigree or the experience.
What did you think of KSI chucking the money full in Joe's face today?
Yeah,
Anthony Taylor obviously grabbing up the notes.
Taylor was the hoovering it up from everywhere. He came back after the press conference and he made sure every dollar was accounted for. And I'm sure he's going to go to a strip club and throw it at someone else next.
Yeah, I mean, it's selling the fight, but
yeah. No, I liked it. It's a noteworthy thing to do, to throw $1,000 in $1 bills at someone who owns a nightclub.
He could have told us it was 10 grand. No one would have known.
No. But it was. No, I liked it. I liked the fact, because he was very quiet in the last press conference. He kept it very humble. He was very reserved. He looked rather nervous. This time round, we got the KSI we was expecting in the first press conference. And this is what's going to get the fans excited, seeing him go face to face with Joe, and Joe's coming back just as hard. It's going to be fantastic.
Because I refuse to not be first.
Do we do enough? Well, I never shut up about it.
It must have been about 16, 17. We nicked their guilt rings. Right, the bouncer's guilt ring.
This is no good for me. That's the reality. If you want the honest truth, and I see it every day,